Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would chat with you guys just a little bit about something that in a lot of ways might be an unpopular topic, but let's just call it like it is. And these are epiphanies I've reached after decades of doing this. Keep in mind, I'm almost 50 years old. You guys have seen me hit pretty big numbers, even in my late 40s. At the moment, I'm currently training a little more for body composition, trying to strip off that last bit of body fat, look a little bit better. And the thing is, any way we go with this, I have concluded more and more and more that a lot of the lifting equipment that we use, even quote unquote for safety purposes, doesn't really do anything for safety purposes. Honestly, a lot of it's just crutches to let us lift more weights and convince ourselves that we are stronger than we really are. Okay? And the truth is, honestly, if we just focus upon doing long range of motion exercises and we learn to lift correctly, brace correctly. I mean, watch even the benching I'm doing there, right? I'm not setting up a crazy big arch, but I'm still pretty tight. I'm keeping that pretty flat back. But notice I'm able to keep the wrist straight without wrist wraps. Why? Because I find my grip positions. I learn to squeeze the hell out of the bar. And if we squeeze the bar really hard on everything, how many of these problems do we have? These needs for wrist wraps and stuff can go away. If anything, wrist wraps let you have a crutch to not learn how to grip the bars and barbells and even the body weight stuff, to grip all of it correctly. Okay? And we shortchange our forearm development. We shortchange our ability to get into positions because we just allow the equipment to do it. The same when it comes to belts. We belt up on squats, deadlifts, everything else. So when we can tell ourselves it's for neural drive and to lift more weight, right? We know it's not for safety. There's no evidence whatsoever that it's safer. But really, it's just letting us get looser in our form. That's really what it does. It lets us get looser in our form. Forces us to not engage things. You should be able to do all your pull-ups without straps. And in this, I'm just taking, a lot of the basic movements you see me doing. These are exercises that I think are foundational lifts. They don't have to be the exact power lift versions. Like in this video, you see me doing more high bar squats, deeper than would be required in a powerlifting meet. No belt, same thing, some ladder back benching, flat-footed benching. Doing RDLs in this one, right? But I'm doing them with no straps. And that's something I've even come to. You say, well, RDLs are probably for us. Really? If our grip and forearms are good, we shouldn't even need them. Just mix grip it and just jump in and do it. It's RDLs. They're going to be lighter than your normal deadlifts. You guys have also watched me deadlift 500 for 11 reps without straps before, though. On a conventional. On a deadlift bar. Granted, that's easier on a deadlift bar. But again, how about all of that? All the different bars. Let's just make it easier. Right? Whippy bars, thinner bars, more aggressive neural. Just lets us use the equipment to lift more weight beyond the standard stuff in a gym. I don't know, guys. I mean, the same thing. I mean, you want to talk about being strong on a deadlift. What do you deadlift on a stiff bar without a belt? With just chalk. Nothing but chalk and shoes in your clothing. That's what I want to see. Walk over and conventional pull that. No whip, no bumper plates on a whippy bar. All right, let's just get in and lift. And for anyone says, oh, that's about ego. No, it's not about ego. The other stuff is ego. It's like, how much equipment can I slap on to let me lift 50 more pounds? 100 more pounds? And here's the thing. Do you guys really think that's going to build better muscle? Do you really think it's going to build better quality musculature? Knee sleeves, knee wraps, elbow sleeves, they're reducing your hypertrophy. They're unloading, they're letting you lift more weight, a lot of those because they're unloading the mechanical tension at the hardest part of the exercise. But that's where the magic is on the muscle growth. That's where we get jacked. What are we doing? I would say what I'm telling you guys, this is the opposite of ego. It's crazy when you say these things. People say, well, that's just, you're strapping on equipment to let you lift more weight than you're capable of lifting. That's ego. Checking your ego is saying, hey, I'm going to come in and do lifts correctly. I'm going to do lifts in a way that forces me to learn to lift better, forces me to squeeze things tighter, forces me to brace my core more, forces me to engage more of my own muscles. Just like, when you'll see me up at the end, I'm doing some of my smaller movements here. I'm using little bitty light weights because I have to do the full range of motion for control. Why? Because we check our ego. Let's get in and build muscle. Do this stuff right. And you'll be stronger for it. That's the crazy thing you can't get people to grasp. They're like, well, that's just maybe for hypertrophy purposes. But what does all the data on that show? Study after study shows that lean body mass relative to your levers is the biggest factor in your max lifts. Get jacked. If you guys get jacked and you do all these movements through the hardest variations, the hardest ranges of motion, you will get stronger. This all ties together. At what point and that's its own topic again, why did we as a lifting culture break away from those two things? Why did we do that to where we said performance and physique have to be separate things? No, they do not. None of the old school guys did that. They all looked phenomenal. They were all strong. People say, well, that wouldn't match modern bodybuilding. Well, who cares? Throw those goofy ass standards away. Are you talking about looking good or are you talking about winning bodybuilding shows in the modern era? You can't do both. Like, it's impossible to look good and win current bodybuilding shows. What are you guys talking about? You think anybody thinks that looks good? Come on, shut up. Now, granted, I know I still got the loose skin and love handles and knees that I'm dieting down. That works against me there. But perfect example, what happens when how I look right now, I diet those down. I get leaner in the waistline, get that smaller because I lose that fat and loose skin in that area. Well, then I'd probably look pretty good to the average person. But that's what we're talking about. Why do we separate these two things? It should be its own videos again. I'll discuss that further later. But the point here is, guys, set the ego to the side. We don't need all this lifting equipment. It's not doing you any favors. And this is something this has been a tough pill for me to swallow personally. Right? It's been a hard pill for me to swallow. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.